Disclaimer: this video is just for storytelling and entertainment, so please keep in mind the difference between reality and fiction. Imagine you're completely alone, and suddenly you hear a siren in the distance. Not from a city, not from a vehicle, but from something that shouldn't be there. And what makes it worse, the sound isn't fading away. It's getting closer. This entity is often referred to as Siren Head, a tall, skeletal figure with sirens where its head should be. But what makes it truly unsettling isn't how it looks. It's what you hear. Some reports suggest the sound is never the same. Sometimes it's an emergency alert. Sometimes it's distorted radio noise. And in certain cases, it sounds like a human voice. What makes it even stranger? This isn't something that comes from ancient folklore. There are no old legends, no historical records. Siren Head actually started as a piece of visual art online, a concept created by an artist, designed to feel unnatural but strangely believable. At first, it was just fiction, an idea that spread through stories across the internet. But then, something started to change. Stories began to appear with similar patterns, not just descriptions, but experiences. And that's where things start to feel different. One person described walking alone when they suddenly heard a static noise, like a broken radio. They stopped, trying to figure out where it was coming from. But the sound wasn't coming from a single direction. It felt like it was all around them. And that's just the beginning. Some accounts say the entity doesn't approach right away. It stands at a distance, completely still, as if it's waiting. Then slowly the sound begins to change, from static into something clearer, almost like someone trying to speak. That's when a pattern starts to form. It doesn't just produce sound. It imitates voices you recognize, voices you trust, and sometimes it sounds almost perfect. At that point, it stops feeling like a simple, strange phenomenon. And what makes it even more unsettling, this isn't an isolated case. Multiple accounts share the same details: remote locations, complete silence, and a sound that shouldn't exist. One person tried to follow it, thinking someone out there needed help. But the closer they got, the more something felt off. The sound didn't sync, like a recording, repeating imperfectly, and that's when they saw it. Too tall to be human, too still to be alive. And something about it just felt wrong. Small details begin to show up across different stories. It doesn't always move, but when you're not looking, it's closer, just slightly, just enough, as if distance doesn't really matter. And by the time you notice that, it's usually too late to leave. Some people claim they got away, but they didn't leave empty-handed. Not an injury, not a mark, but the sound, still there, even when everything is quiet. And that's when everything changes, because it's no longer about seeing it, it's about hearing it. And when you realize the sound is still there, when there should be nothing at all, it might mean something is still following you. After that, some people stop talking about it. They don't tell anyone, because the more they try to explain it, the harder it becomes to separate what's real from what's just sound. And the strangest part is, there's no real proof it exists. No clear recordings. No consistent evidence. Just stories that sound too similar to ignore. And when the sound finally stops, it doesn't always mean it's over. Sometimes, it just means it's done with you. And by the time you realize that, it's already too late. So, if you ever find yourself somewhere quiet, and you suddenly hear a siren in the distance, would you try to find where it's coming from, or stay completely still before it gets closer?